Hello, Four Gamer community and Beyblade community as a whole. This is James, aka Stay Cool, aka FG Miriam, on the tournament scene. Today, we're here to discuss Beyblade and Beyblade tournaments. Talking for two, I guess, legends, upcoming players, upcoming legends or anything like that. We have Froztz and CrisisCrusher07. Two of my good friends here to discuss with them today, like some Beyblade news and Beyblade knowledge, and get their insight on some tournament stuff as well as just an insight on Beyblade. How y'all doing today?
Hey, I'm good.
I'm pretty good.
Pretty good. Mike, could you just say hey or whatever so they know who is Mike and who is who is CrisisCrusher and who is Froztz?
Hi, I'm CrisisCrusher. My other name is Mike.
And I am Froztz.
Yeah.
With a Z at the end.
Yeah.
With a Z at the end.
So I have a few questions for y'all, and I'll ask who to go first. But the first question I got online is just how'd you get involved in the Beyblade and competitive Beyblading? CrisisCrusher, you take this one off first. Like, what got you interested in Beyblade as a whole and the tournament scene?
All right. So when I was younger, when I was like 12, I actually got into Plastic Gen with some friends of mine. But back then there was no like tournament scene or anything. So once I got a little older, fell out of it. But it was one of those things that I really enjoyed doing, but nothing could hold me to it. Probably because there was no competitive scene. So I got into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And then when COVID started, I needed something to do with my stepson that we could do in the house because we couldn't go anywhere. And I always remembered seeing the Beyblade stuff in the aisles when we would go to Walmart. So I had the nostalgia feel for a second and went, all right, I'm going to go buy a couple. So I went and bought a couple and started messing with them with him. And my buddy Geepster, who also I knew from Yu-Gi-Oh!, he introduced me into competitive play. So then I started buying Takara Tomy, and next thing you know, here I am playing more than my stepson does at all.
Yeah. Same. I definitely played more than I don't play more than my kids, but once I got hooked, that's when everything started. I'm definitely more involved than they are now, especially with them going to school and stuff like that. How about you? Froztz?
So yeah, like you guys, I got involved from my son. So I did the whole Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing. Since I was a kid, I just like playing competitive card games, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Versus System, Magic, Spoils. So kind of got too old for that, I guess, or kind of lost interest in that. So yeah, same. COVID hit. My son, he started watching a lot of Beyblade, sort of just random old school cartoons like Pokemon, the super old school ones, and Beyblade. And, one day he's like, hey, I want to do a Beyblade tournament. I was like, there's no such thing. So I was like, you know what, let me look this up, and got on Google, found the WBO, and then started going to school ever since then. And it's just natural for me just to want to play games competitively, just from that whole card game experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that hit us all hard, like both of y'all said, and I've talked to both of y'all about like Yu-Gi-Oh! Really. It was the era that we grew up in. We're dads now, but I remember when Pokemon first. I remember watching early morning cartoons and Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was just so heavy. And Beyblade came out around that time, but I don't know how I didn't catch on to it, but I didn't really watch it like that or play it. But I know Yu-Gi-Oh! The same as y'all, like, really got me heavily involved. Froztz, this is question outside. Did you know KJ rules before you started playing?
Was that for?
Froztz.
Oh, no.
Oh, you didn't know him?
I didn't know any of the players before I started playing.
Okay.
I didn't know about the Beyblade community. I literally showed up to the first tournament in, I think it was Franklin. I don't remember, but it was a Build-A-Rock tournament. Showed up there with some Beyblades, got third place. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. The competitive style is It definitely sucked me in the same manner. Like it was Christmas time. I've told this story like 1,000 times, and I got my kids to Beyblades, and they were beating me. Like at first, like it was fun to see them play, and then they were beating each other and back there to try to play, and I thought it was also about like how hard you could rip it. And after I beat myself, I had a Hasbro Archer Hercules. All we had was Hasbro, and he just kept beating me. Now, honestly, I was getting frustrated and upset, and then I looked into the rules, and then, like y'all, I came along WBL as I was looking up, and then found out about Takara Tomy. Throughout this, though, like, y'all both are highly competitive, and I would say, like, some of the better players in the game. Like, what are, like, any advice or any of your, or tips, or, like, what are your, like, favorite combos? Like, give me one or two for the meta as well as for, like, non-meta. Frost, you pick this one off.
My favorite combo. I think my favorite combo is probably obviously Tempest Solomon. You know, I use that all the time. I mean, I know it is now a new what's the word? New
less competitive.
No, just now we're in
DB.
Yeah, DB in the DB system, so it's not really that competitive anymore. But it's the combo, the first combo I used. I mean, it was, but yeah, that's probably my favorite meta combo. And then after that, I'm not a fan of drift. I mean, I know it's a good part, but I'm not a fan of drift combos. I'd probably say my other favorite combo would probably be Rage on Rubber, or if you want to go up to the DB version, you know. So, yeah, on Rubber.
Why don't you like drift?
Huh? I don't like drift because everybody was using it.
Yeah.
You know, World 2B drift. I mean, Tempest was like that. Don't get me wrong. Tempest was like that, but not everyone was using Tempest. There were counters to it, opposite spin counters, even same spin atomic. So it really did take skill to use Extend Plus and not just using it in stamina mode, but knowing when to switch to defense or attack mode, which really no one was actually doing that.
Yeah. It took me a while. It took us a while within the house, like, because I only used Extend Plus. When I first started using Extend, I didn't think it was as great what people were saying. And then I found out I had to, like, adjust my launch with certain things, and then using attack or defense mode, I didn't mess with those either. I was like, oh, it's acting crazy. And that's when you find out, like, when to use them and how to use them.
Yeah.
I feel like, I won't say Extend Plus is like OP or anything like that. I feel like it did have its moment, but I will say, and not to just get away on me, but I think High Extend Plus is a little OP, but I really do, man. I really, that driver, but I like it though. It's not like bad. It's not like, oh my goodness, it's gonna get spammed, because that's the beauty of Extend Plus. You have to know how to use it. It's not like, in my opinion, like drift, where you could just soft launch opposite spin and get the win. You have to know how to use it to make it OP.
I haven't used Extend Plus in tournaments yet. I've used it for one test, but I was disappointed that I didn't use it because everybody was using it.
It's just super good.
It is. It's possibly, like, I know it's one of my favorite parts. What about for non-meta? Like, you have anything non-meta wise really like they're hidden?
So again, I haven't really done CD tournaments recently, so I'm gonna go to say anything with Orbit Metal or let's see, Octa. Octa is really good. Octa is really good, especially in a same spin. If you can get a little bit wear on it, my Octa is actually outspin my Extend Plus in same spin. Yeah. So I really like Octa. As far as combos, non-meta combos, I'm gonna say Savior with, let's say Savior and Extreme.
You said Savior and Extreme?
Yeah, Savior with Nexus with the S gear and Extreme.
Oh, okay. All right. I haven't used. I don't really like right spin attack, but that's just for me. But that is legit. That is a good.
Non-meta.
Yeah, it's non-meta, and honestly, it's those type of combos that surprise you because they pop out, and it's like, man, I haven't prepared for this. I haven't thought of this, and then it wipes you out. And nice. I like it. And Tempest, I thought you might go with Tempest, but I didn't. I wasn't for sure. But yeah, I know that was your go-to for a while, and you have one of the best Tempests I had seen on the tournament style. How about you, Crisis?
I mean, so as far as like competitive combos, like that's my favorite. Right now, it would have to be Vanish Longinus over Heights and plus a 0. But I will say I only really like this combo because it's just basically for me an evolution to my same version with Never.
Yeah.
Like when I made that Never combo, like it was wild. I had no clue how it turned out the way it did. Because in all honesty, I only made that combo because when I was making my deck for WBO deck format, I knew I wanted my left spin drift and my right spin on tapered bearing. And then I'm like, I got to find a driver to counter the same spin drift matchup for, and like I always make my deck in like a triangle format. Like this one will beat this one will beat this one, and that one will beat the first one. So I'm like, well, I need to find a driver that'll, same spin beat drift, but I want something that'll just kind of just stay in the center and be a good stamina blade. And I tried Never, and it just worked. I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going with this. And randomly at the tournament that I went next, I decided to use it in the Switch rounds, and it just blew everybody away.
Yeah.
So, and Frost was at that tournament, actually, and it was just wild.
Yeah.
I have no clue how that happened.
Yeah, I know Frost, he had mentioned it. I think when I really knew, because I remember when that combo came out or it started getting used, is when Bobby used it down here. I remember, we had our chat, and then, because I always follow, the tournaments on Challenge, to see what's going on. And I think that was Bobby's first tournament, I think.
Yeah. It was technically his second. He had one down here or up here with us, but he didn't top or anything, but he didn't own any parts, so he was just using some spare parts of mine. Mm-hmm. And then it was kind of like his introduction to, do I actually want to play this game or not? So he tried it with us, and then he was like, all right, Mike, what do I need to order? So I showed him a list of stuff to order.
Yeah, it's dope. And for y'all who don't know, CrisisCrusher, he's part of the D.C., Maryland scene with Beyblade. And Frost, he's along with myself, part of the North Carolina scene. But we do a lot of traveling in different locations and regions playing. And I would say from the two areas, Florida included, I need to make it out to the West Coast. And I love seeing different styles of Beyblade. I feel like y'all are, it's weird. It's just like how the North and the South cultures are. I wouldn't say we're not as innovative down here, but I feel like we make what is efficient, the most efficient it can be, and y'all are really innovative up north. For what I see. I know, at least from what I've seen from the tournament style and the combos. But yeah, the first time I saw that Never combo or heard about it, we were texting in the chat, and I was like, who won, this and that, and Arthur was like, it was a new guy. I was like, what was he using? And I think when they said his name, I was thinking, man, that's CrisisCrusher's friend, or they told me, but I was surprised, I was shocked, I was hyped, and yeah, that Never combo is pretty legit. What about was that your non-meta one? Your non-meta combo, or was that you just
No, that's basically the meta, because it evolved into using Heights and Plus. Yeah. That's just where it started.
Okay.
So I guess, non-meta-wise, I've actually been messing around with a Guilty Longinus on Karma and Venture plus V. It's been doing really well. I don't see a lot of people using Venture plus V. I think it's actually got really good same spin, and especially for the tag type. Like once it like bashes something into the wall and it starts losing stamina, it just has better same spin no matter what the driver they have.
You said guilty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Guilty long in there, so on Karma and Venture Plus V.
Nice.
Yeah.
That combo sounds legit.
It's heavy. That's
yeah.
the big thing. It's heavy.
Yeah. It's unique, and it's pretty cool that y'all both have for the non-meta those attack style, like those hidden attack style combos. I'm surprised y'all didn't say or maybe just because it's mine, but Moment. I would say Moment is definitely one of my parts that's like non-meta. I don't know. Like, how y'all feel about that part? Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's really close to Orbit Metal, Ross. Like, Moment is as far as the way that it acts, but it has a little bit extra to that outer ring.
I think it's sort of like Extend Plus and Orbit, honestly.
Okay.
I feel like the ring, how when it makes contact, that outer ring will hit the stadium floor and sort of put on the brakes, and then all that force goes back to the other Beyblade, so you can get some pretty decent KOs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Moment. I really liked it when it came out. I will say the red one from the random booster that just came out, though, it's like a little more free spinning with that outer ring part, so it does a little better, I feel. I really like it.
Have y'all used the new Atomic?
I've tried it. I feel the issue is with DB bays, it doesn't sit high enough, because that's what it used to do. Like, it used to destabilize the other drivers, but it's weird because like now you have like high atomic and whatnot that's higher than it, so it can't really destabilize it like it used to, like you can with regular Extend Plus.
Yeah, I can see that, because the DB really changed the meta. That's one of the things that I like when the meta changes. I like using those non-meta combos, or being creative. I feel like it just shows a lot more skill. And like, speaking on that, like what and I'll go to you first on this one, Mike. Like, we're talking about the parts and things like that and the competitions that you've been to. Like, what is something that you see, well, when you see another player or you go against an opponent that makes you, I don't want to say admire, but respect them, to be like, hey, they have decent skill, or they're great, or they know what they're doing. Like, what do you look for in that? Actually, Mike, I'm sorry. I want to start this one. My bad.
Okay.
Because I want to speak on it, and y'all can agree or disagree. I wanted to say that, of course, I respect y'all both, but and I'm gonna shout him out. It's my dude, Arca Paul, and the reason why is it was in Florida Summer Games. You were there, Frost. And correct me if I'm wrong. I know people have started using the same spin drift, and I know we had talked about drift. And I also don't like it for the opposite spin. I won't say I don't like it, but it's a cookie cutter. But with the same spin drift, Arca was the first person I saw in person use. I know it was heavy with the Heaven combo, the heavy, Heaven Pegasus with Goku, I think.
Yeah, and Wheel.
Yeah, and Will, but Arca used it on, was it Dynamite Bilal?
Yes.
Yes.
He was the first person I saw use it as well, but we were at the Summer Games. I know some mentioned that Florida's players had used this the week before in the road to, I forgot what the events were called now, leading up to the Summer Games, but they withheld the data from the WBO until the Summer Games. But Arca was the first person I saw use it.
He was the first person I saw. They may have been using it, but I know he was the first one that I saw with that same spin. What surprised me more, it surprised me that he used the same spin and he was doing what everyone was trying to do, and it spun so perfectly. What surprised me even more with it was that he was using, the drift he was using wasn't a way. He had literally just pulled it out of the box. And going back to talk about like the level of skill of players, I love that they that's what I look for because I feel like a lot of people could pull out a combo that they get from the like the winning combination form.
Correct. Yeah, the winning combination thread.
Yeah, from that thread and probably get lucky or do something like that. But to have something completely creative, completely new, and just kind of like wipe the floor with it. I think he lost once, and then he lost again where he got to second place. But it was still like a lot of skill. And I shout out Sniper too with that, like Wedge. I hope I'm not saying anything of y'all. Y'all don't have to say specific players. It's that uniqueness and that innovation that I look for, and especially when it's effective, because sometimes you'll see some random combos, but they're not effective. So, how do you feel about that, or what do you look for?
Oh, one of the key things I look for when like I'm blading against people at events is I really pay attention to their launch styles. Like, you can definitely see when there's a blader that's aiming to like their launch style is sniping. You can definitely find a blader that knows how to light launch properly against certain things. Like, I know a lot of times when I'll go against the same spin attack, I don't like fully hard launch, even though it's, the same spin. I'll do like a medium to light launch, and it just, they might hit me, but 9 out of 10 times it doesn't do enough damage, and then they just, because they're on an attack driver, waste all their stamina and run out of steam, and that's it. It doesn't matter. It's still over. Launch style is a big thing for me to watch out for. Like, I played against Geekster, and he is really good with an attack type, and I have to really watch out when I play him. Like, he's really good at getting the angle launch in there to where he can flower pattern, get me right into the pocket. So I have to always make sure when I'm launching, I got to like kind of turn, like move my hand just before I launch to make sure I'm launching in front of a wall and not a pocket.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise it's just straight game over.
Yeah. I've seen him play. I learned something from him too, watching him. He likes the stadium. Like, people choose sides of the stadiums, but his knowledge with it, and I've seen his launch style. It is pretty legit. And I like that you said it. My bad. Did I cut you off?
No, you're good.
Yeah, I like that you said that, because that's something I would not have thought of, launch style, but that's a good indicator. And honestly, I didn't even understand launch styles. Like, I knew like to do soft launch or hard launch and things like that, but it's all in the angle and things like that. That was another thing I saw. I'm blowing this man's head up, but Arca, his launch, like it was.
Well, yeah. I examined froztz video when it was him, when it was Arca versus Bobby, and I was examining that tournament video that froztz had put up, and I was watching how he was launching his drift. So I started trying to launch it the same way, and lo and behold, the drift would just stay in the center most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is just wild.
You know what? That is what did it for me, because I had never. It was the combo, and also like I had never seen that angle.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that angle before, and I was like, man, what is this? Does he have a lab? Does he have some type of lab with? He's making like Beyblade experiments and stuff like that to get him test the perfect angles and things like that. But it was pretty intense. It was pretty good. Ross, what you got?
Oh man, so it's gonna seem like a cop out, but I'll add more to it. But I think it's launching as well. I mean,
yeah.
I've been, since I first started, I noticed that certain people like to be on certain side of the stadiums where either the pocket's on the left or the right. So very quickly, I learned that you have to be able to launch no matter what side of the stadium you're on, and you have to pay attention to how your opponent is launching, how if they're tilting it or if they're lifting up, if they're angling or their launcher a different way where they're launching, so that you can adapt as to whether you need to maybe launch towards the right side of the stadium or launch over them or launch to the left side of the stadium, etc. So that's really something I look at when I'm trying to determine how skilled my opponent may be is really launch style. And also I'd say something else is maybe innovation when it comes to the combos they're using. Like, we have Rain up here, Kamek. Kamek uses a lot of combos that are really, some of them are super risky.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you noticed a lot of the times the combos that Kamek has come to tournaments with, the next tournament you see a bunch of people using them. He's really innovative. I'd say he's more innovative with respect to the competitiveness of the combos, whereas Rain just tries to straight up outlandish stuff.
Yeah. So I'm so sorry, Fox, but I wanted to get this out. I forgot about Kamek, and shout out to Kamek. I have seen him. He is probably the most innovative.
Yeah, so the line cut off. We're back. I can't remember what I was saying, or where I was at in regards to talking about Kamek, but yeah, every tournament, like you said, like he has something new and creative, and then it's kids or adults or anybody is coming back and using what he was using before, and he is, I would say, the most innovative. Sometimes, like you said, like it is risky, but he makes it work. But go ahead. I don't want to say I didn't mean to cut you off but I did want to get that out. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the Kamek, Rain, they're super innovative with their combos. Build a Rob, I've seen him use some pretty combos. So yeah, mainly launching and the combos that people are using. And another person, CS, that I've had actually play against him or see some of the videos of the tournament he's been to. He uses some pretty good combos.
He does. He does.
A lot of the times he goes undefeated. And it's just man, like
he
the
does.
knowledge has to have.
Yeah. He pretty much went. I can't remember, but when we was in Virginia, that's the first time I met him, and I think he went undefeated in that tournament. I think he lost like once. He lost once or so. I'm gonna sound weak with this, but he is. Anytime that I go to battle, like it's Beyblades, it's Beyblades, so it's not like I'm nervous, like I'm about to go fight. So I would say C.S. Craven is the only person, like, for some reason, I get worried because of the way that I've seen him play, and he has these innovative combos, but he'll also use things that you're used to, but for some reason he makes them work differently, or I don't really know how to describe it, but he's done things with his combos that it's like nobody else can do. So whenever I play against him, I go in there, or if I do play against him, because honestly I haven't, but he's the only one that I think like, man, I don't know if I could win, even if I have something that I know I beat everybody else with. But yeah, he's a real legit and a good player. Have you played against him, Mike?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. You know who we're talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
I was at the Virginia tournament.
Yeah, I just did it. I couldn't remember if you knew because that's where I met you at. I had already met Froztz.
Yeah.
And then that's where I met everybody from Maryland. Appreciate y'all coming. All right, so I got one more question for y'all, and it could be a debate. I know it's Mike's favorite question for these for the variant drivers. How do you feel about it within the tournament scene? Like, are you with it? Are you against it? Like, first, like, just let me know if you're for or against it. Mike, I already know your opinion, but you want to put it out?
I think the variant rule driver pretty much needs to be in there as long as we're using 3v3 and WBO deck formats. Like, if we move to 5G, I would be fine with it not existing, like there not being a variant rule.
Okay. So you are for us having a variant rule. We only use one driver per our deck.
Right. One driver of the name.
All right. How you feel about it, Frost?
Man.
and I want to shout out Frost's part of you are part of staff. You don't want to put you're part of staff. So it's good to have your opinion from that viewpoint also, because I know y'all talk about a lot more things than we do. But yeah, go ahead.
So I'll give you two opinions. My personal opinion, and then my opinion from playing the game and seeing what most players want.
Okay.
So from what I've seen and from discussions with, I don't know, a lot of different players. Not even just in the Carolinas, Florida, Maryland, even some of the ones in New York. A lot of the players are for a variant rule where you can only have one version of a driver. However, a lot of those players are very open when it comes to voicing that opinion. So, you kind of get situations where
where you had just me versus Stink and everyone else.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I say I'm for it. Is from my knowledge and the conversations that I've had personally with players, and not just a new player to the game, but like actual established players. A lot of them are for it, and at least being a player and also card staff, somewhat I'm for that rule. My personal opinion, though, is I come from a competitive background for like card games, and one thing that I really hate about games is when they release something and then you go and you purchase it and you purchase copies or what have you, and then they're like only one now.
Oh, you can only use one?
Yeah, like Yu-Gi-Oh limiting stuff.
You have the limited. MTG, you have the flops. So I really hate when games do that. So my personal opinion is, if somebody purchased cards, they should be able to use them. So I think that you should be able to use however many versions of Drift you want, however many versions of Extreme you want. And to elaborate more on that, think about the new players who come to our tournaments who only have so many drivers or so many babies. And sometimes they just have different versions of the same card. So I think if you look at it from the standpoint of more players being able to get in and play sooner and use the parts that they have, and also from the standpoint that people aren't purchasing these products, I think people should be able to use whatever they want.
Yeah.
So can I elaborate on something?
Yeah.
One part of the driver rule when it was initially put in that I didn't quite agree with, I feel like only the different versions should really be applying to drivers that are basically the exact same thing. Like Metal Drift and Drift. They're basically the exact same thing, they just have a different cap. That's all it really is. Bearing and Bearing Dash, same thing. I don't feel as if like the different versions of Hasbro's should be included in that, for the simple fact of those drivers don't do the same thing that like the Takara Tomy drivers do. Minus a couple, like the older drivers like Bearing and whatnot. Yes, that still does do the same thing. You could make some slight adjustments and acceptances in that. But like
what about like high extend plus dash and extend plus? Would you consider that the same or different? I consider that different. The
high drivers are in a way different to me because they perform similarly but different.
Yeah.
Like they're taller, so they can be destabilized differently and stuff like that. But at the same time, they do act as the same variant of the driver. Like the tip that's hitting the ground is still the same thing. Yeah. If you know what I mean. So they're kind of a gray area because they're so new too.
Yeah.
So I do agree. I totally agree with that. The different versions between say Takara Tomy and Hasbro. Some of them, like you said, aren't even anywhere near. They don't have the same performance or anything. They don't even look the same. So
right. I think Drift is way different. It's still. I think.
Yeah. Maybe expanding the variant rule to something like that would work, but then you get into the point where the rule book is supposed to be easy to pick up.
Simplified.
Yeah. So I think that is one problem with implementing something like that. Short of saying you can only use one version of say specifically Takara Tomy, Metal, High, Dash. and separate maybe Hasbro out.
Right. You know, it like, because one of my things with this entire driver variant thing is because in all of the WBO formats, you're only using 3 Beyblades. 3 Beyblades is not a lot. So it's not like in WBBA from Japan where they're spreading it between their 5G deck. So you have to really thin out your parts between each other to try to get decent combos. Where here, it's only 3. So it's like, if there's 3 best armors or 3 best fists in the game, like right now, pretty much Capper, Giga, and Over are all the best 3. And you don't have to think now. You just throw them into your deck.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's the one thing that, like, with the driver rule variant, like, I had made a response in the WBO forum about it. When it came to the tournaments that I was coming up to for this month and last month before I had to cancel last month, I was sweating. I was sweating, what is this third driver going to be? Because, you know, I'm trying to build combos that I know I can just launch and will probably just win whatever it goes against. And I'm like, I'm sweating, what's this third one going to be? And I couldn't figure it out. Like, Zone Dash isn't the same as Bearing or High Extend Plus. You know, It's not going to do as well in Same Spin if I run against a Bearing or High Extend Plus, where there's a high probability if I run into another competent player, they're going to be running Bearing and High Extend Plus.
Yeah.
So
I think as you're saying that, because I was just thinking like, like even with just the 3 drivers, like you can have like High Extend Plus, a Bearing, and a Drift. The Drift is risky because you don't know what direction, like for that easier win, you know, because it's the easy win for the opposite spin. Same spin, you just have to know what you're doing.
Right.
But with this variant rule, it's the deck part, and you had mentioned to me that before that I'm more concerned about. Like, I'm honestly just worried about that. Not in terms of, I mean, it's gonna take a while. Y'all have dealt with draws, but the draw rule is in effect now.
Right.
Is there a draw rule for deck?
Yes. Oh, no. For WBO deck, no.
Yeah.
There is no draw rule.
There is no draw rule for deck, and that's what I thought about, because it's like, but you can't change rotation, but it won't matter anymore, because you'll have a right spin drift and a left spin drift, and then you could use High Extend Plus or Bearing.
Granted, I can say in that regard, you already essentially have that with the Prominence combo with Mobius. However, I can argue that Mobius combo can still fall over and completely lose you the game, lose that point.
I haven't seen that combo or like utilized it like that.
Yeah, but like I've seen it topple over at the end, and then the other Beyblade gets a point. But it's like now with 2 drifts, I can just use drift instead, and metal drift on the other, and it'll always stay standing. It's not going to really topple over like Mobius can.
Yeah,
because drift was Mobius, but without that flaw.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. At the same time, though, I do agree with what Frost said, and not banning the parts. And I know, like, you can respect that also, because I did see, or I didn't see, but I used to have these conversations with Shindog as well. And because I know I didn't like, this isn't with the drivers, but even the mode changes. Like, I like to be able to switch from left and right, or to go to high and low and things like that, because it's, you know, it's what you pay your money for.
Right.
And it's the same thing, you know, you pay your money, you get a bearing, and you get a bearing dash, and you get a bearing combo. If you have legit ones, you're good to go. But I don't know if honestly, I don't know. And I do feel a little bit now like it is early. Like, we have done the test for it, like in the past and things like that. But I don't know. We're gonna see on the 12th when we had the tournament as well. Are y'all doing 3v3, Frost?
No, we're doing standard.
Okay. Yeah.
So you guys are just doing single bay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but with the 3v3, like, I mean, we're gonna see how and then well, y'all will still see how it goes because you're gonna do it with deck. Yeah.
Right. Well, we're gonna see how it goes in Virginia too. So.
Yeah. What I meant like frosting them, because even once y'all have deck, you're gonna be running.
Right.
3v3. Frost, what combos are you using on the 19th?
I'm gonna use 3 extremes. Fuck that.
I was just gonna see if anybody is listening and they wanted to go ahead and try to build some combos. Oh, with that though, because we are talking about the like the stamina style drivers. I want to see somebody. I need to go out to the West Coast because I feel like they do attack a lot more. I want to see those 3 extremes. I want to see those multiple destroy combos, because for some reason, and it's probably a big bias, I have as much of a problem with the double or triple attack combos as I do with the stamina. And I think the stamina is just because it's going to be long and drawn out and kind of boring.
But attack have to be you have to know how to launch. Well, rubber attack. But
yeah,
that's an extreme. You have to know how to launch. But if you're using like quick, you can just launch quick, and with the shape on it, and it won't really pop out as much as say extreme astro.
Yeah, quick is a lot easier to control, but extreme is a lot faster.
Yeah, a whole lot faster.
Yeah, I don't use extreme. I like quick. I'm not good with rubber combos. Ross hurt my feelings one time in one of his videos, and make sure y'all check out his channel, Competitive Gamer. I think it was when he came to the Jacksonville, and I did not know how to launch, and he called me out on it, hurt my feelings. I think because I was holding it flat, and he paused it as I was holding it, and he was like, "You see how he has it right there? He's flat, so I already know he's about to self KO." And I self KO'd. I turned that video off. I was like, "Man, he's not about to play me in my own city, on my own tournament." I was like, I'm not watching this and that, but it was funny, and I didn't know how to launch those rubber drivers. I found out later, but yeah, I self KO'd and I lost. And then I felt so betrayed, but he can't tell me why he's judging. But then he talk about me on the YouTube. But it's all good. Check him out on competitivegamer.com. I mean, not .com, but Competitive Gamer on YouTube, and the link is also on our website. Did y'all have anything else to add?
Yeah, I'm gonna add. I had a lot of players are like they feel like I don't know the word for it. I don't know the right word. It's like I try not to I try to be unbiased in those reviews.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah. Oh, I was just joking. I mean, it did hurt my feelings. I'm not lying, but it's good information. Yeah. It's good to see that, and I compete with you too, you and Mike, and I do love y'all honesty at tournaments, because after I watched that, I had to find out how I was supposed to launch. It helped me to get better. I was gonna boo-hoo about it, and then I talked to Mike, and he put me on to I can't remember the name of who it was, but he did tell me about like balance tuning and learning the different styles of launching.
Oh, Papa Bay.
Yeah, Papa Bay. And and if y'all don't know Mike CrisisCrusher, he has balance tuned boxes, Beyblade boxes is what we use at our tournaments. You can hit him up. I'll put any of his links for social media up there. You can get a nice Beyblade box for your collection from Balance Tuned, which is pretty cool.
One thing real quick that I want to add, because I was thinking about this while we were talking about the driver variant. I feel like, how the Karatomi keeps making all these different versions of already existing drivers?
Yeah.
I feel like it's because of their 5G format.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it allows you to use more than one version of a driver.
Yeah.
Basically. For their 5G format, where, like I said, you got to spread out the parts. And I feel like that's the bit, because the Karatomi, you got to think about it. They are making the game and making parts to cater to how they play the game.
Yeah.
So us changing their rules to fit how we want to play the game makes things a little difficult, because we don't know what they're going to come out with.
Mm-hmm.
So the more I've thought about it, I really feel like WBO might need to look into the just following WBBA's rules.
Yeah.
Like, and going to 5D deck. Because then, like Frost said, we spend the money to play with these parts. Well, I want to be able to go in the low and high mode as much as I want, like in the show, or I want to be able to change from left to right as much as I can, like in the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and not being able to do that, it feels bad.
It does. I do agree with that because with low and high mode, I feel like, and after learning it, I think when the DB Bays first came out, everyone was like, forget high mode, it's too unstable, or majority of people was like, no. But now, after playing, there are so many advantages to high mode or being able to switch from high to low. It's ridiculous. Like, you can really, you could run one bay if you had to through an entirety of a tournament and just switch it from low to high and probably win 100%.
Depending on the situation.
Yeah, depending. And
right.
But if you,
and that shows a player's skill too, knowing when to change from a high and low mode. Because I'm like the only person up here in Maryland that switches between high and low mode at all, and that's just because I've been messing with these Dynamite bays since they came out, and I realized high mode is really good for opposite spin, and in some cases, depending on the drivers, it's good for same spin too because it pushes the other one down.
It'll knock them down. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I learned that
in the last format, when you had things like where I used to use World 2B Orbit Metal and then you get them up under there. That is such a good feeling.
Yeah. I like it's nice when you see the destabilization. I know I do it with my son most of the time to just knock them off or knock them down and those things because sometimes it comes like to the very end and then you could tell once your Beyblade takes the center and steals it away. It's kind of like just how the anime is. It just knocks the other one not completely out of stadium, but just gets them off balance to where they just die out. 2B, I wasn't as good, or I don't know. I think I just stay away from sprigging combos. I don't use them as much because they like everybody likes it, and I try to use what most people aren't using. Granted, I was using Astral recently, but I have some new things now that hopefully I can get and show y'all. Hopefully do well. But appreciate y'all so much. Any last requests, any last shout outs or anything like that?
What's your favorite format?
Mine?
Yeah, both of you.
I like 3v3.
I haven't gotten to play Pick 3 Choose 1 yet, but as of now, I definitely like 3v3 more than single bay. Single bay for me was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, I only hated it because I felt like there was so much randomization because I'm like, okay, well, what combo can I build? And, like, when you got into certain points in time during a format, there's no, like, directly safe combo. Like, I know during Sparking, you just walked up with Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you walk up with Tempest and you had, like, a 90% chance you were going to probably win that entirely. DB, it's like there's so many different combos now, you don't really have a high percentage of coming up with one combo every round and winning. So it's kind of like an anxiety thing when next thing you know, you're like, okay, cool. Because I watch Geekster. I watched him go through an entire tournament where literally every round, this is what he did. He walked over and was basically like, let's flip a coin and see if I put, flip a coin and see if I put the world in right spin or left spin and go with that. And the whole tournament, he just hit it right. So he's on an opposite spin drift every single time because he got lucky.
Yeah.
And that just triggered me. It triggered me to no end. Like, he's just in there and he's just like, super Asian power. Let's go.
Yeah. What was I about to say? There's the 3v3. I like it. But I haven't done it in WBO format yet. And the only difference I see with that is me being able to change the modes so much. So I can't say that I do like it more, but I do like those options because I still will be able to change the mode. I just, once we switch, I won't be able to change still. But I will even though it's the one I like the most, I have gained it. This is so weird, and Mike, this completely goes against what you just what you had just said. But I have seen some since we have stopped it, and I know I was arguing against it, some appreciation for single bay, especially now. And I think it's only because I understand how to use the high and the low mode. So I would definitely do and if you have that knowledge, and not just high and low mode, but also with Extend Plus, High Extend Plus. Like I wish I could give out all the secrets or like show the advantages with that driver, especially using high and low mode. Like I feel like if you got the right combo, like you could just dominate. You know, at least that's how I feel. How about you, Froztz? Which one you like the most?
I like pick 3. I think
do?
it's the strategic and tactical one. I don't like how long it takes though.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite, and then
you said what?
Standard. Pick 3, choose one, followed by a standard.
Okay. Yeah, I was
So you don't really like the 3v3?
Yeah.
I haven't actually played it. Actually, no, we played it at what was that? The State Clash.
Yeah. With Florida.
Yeah, I think it. I don't want to say I don't like it. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of how much time it takes to do a tournament in a specific format.
Right.
I didn't. Are you saying 3v3 took a long time or P3 C1? Pick 3 choose one.
No. So I the pick 3 choose one that I hosted took a lot longer than standard, like a lot longer. And that's mainly because you got to pick 3. You got to make 3 combos. Think about what combos your opponent's going to use. And it's really probably the same thing with 3-on-3. With the exception that you don't have to take time to choose which combo you're going to use. I mean, I guess you still got to pick the order, but it's a little 3 combos and with your opponent's 3, and you got to figure out which one you're going to use.
Yeah, I know you had always told me that you like pick 3, choose one. I was curious, is that why you chose to do your next one as a single?
Oh, yeah.
Because of the time?
Flip-flop between them.
Okay.
Yeah, the next one I heard, so I'm going to probably do pick 3, choose one. Just because up here in Maryland, we haven't had a pick 3, choose one, so I'd rather get a feel for it than get feedback from the community up here. Which one did they like better to use? Right. We did. Go ahead.
No, go. I was just about to ask, did y'all like y'all 3v3?
We did. The only thing we hated was the fact that it was a very cold day up here. Not a good day. It's so wild because literally 3 days during the week leading up to it were warm and sunny up here, and then next thing you know, the day of, it's like cold and windy, and we're like, why?
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
But like
our last one was freezing out there that day. We had on gloves. Somebody Fireblader's mom had the heater on, but it kept turning the breaker. It was freezing out there.
I feel like if I came down there and played, I'd be the one in a t-shirt because I'm used to Maryland cold. You know what I mean? I
will admit that. Yeah, it gets way colder up there than it does down here, or at least with y'all's win. I don't know. Some days though, from me traveling back and forth, when I would go up there, it would feel way warmer than it did down here. But I've seen it vice versa. It's like 80 degrees, not 80 degrees, but it's like 70 something right now. I'm outside in a t-shirt, no shoes on. Yeah.
Fun.
But yeah, man, I definitely enjoyed the 3v3. I didn't think that it took that much skill, but after playing it and understanding the reshuffle, because I thought it was single blader like 3 times and you just get lucky, but it's really not. And I like single blader. My third one is probably pick 3, choose one, because I used to think like, oh man, you'll go up there and you'll just choose the best one against their 3. But to me, it's not really different than it's not too much different than a single blader, I guess, in that aspect. I feel like now I have more of the advantage with single blader because you'll go up against some like a new player or someone, and they'll have some. I guess it's just the randomness that it is. It's like even more random than just single blader. Somebody building something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was messing with a Beyblade.
No, you good. You good. I heard the knocking in the back. I'm like, man, somebody's like building a house on the phone right now. But, it's all good. But yeah, I don't know. I guess overall, like I'm just at this point, I'm happy to play. I know I've done complaints and want changes and this and that, but I'm overall just happy to play.
Yeah, like that's like I said in my last thing on the WBO when they said about the rule change. Ultimately, at the end of the day, whatever they choose, and I'm still going to play this game.
Yeah.
Like, that's how that is.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Thank y'all. Thank everyone for listening. Wait, let me ask one more time. Y'all got any more requests? Anything else?
I actually do have a question.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about the Karatomi continuing DB?
Are they continuing it or are they starting a new series?
They're continuing it. Like that. Okay, so it's a new series, but they're using the DB system.
I think it's great because I want to see some of the other bays. I want to get Drums Bay. I want to get who else did they not release? They didn't do Iger. If they bring back a Death Scyther, that would be dope. Who else didn't they do? I feel like they didn't do a lot of people.
If the leaks are correct, we get a Belial evolution, and then after that we get a Kerbeus evolution.
Kerbeus. I'm not a fan of Kerbeus. No, I am a fan. Let me not say that. I'm not a fan of Wyvern.
Oh, you're not a fan of Wyvern?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Wyvern. That in Super King. Don't
get me started.
Like I only started playing back in with the GT bays, so it's not like I played with Classic or anything like that. But I know with Super King with Wyvern, man, and even from having our store.
That's when they should have released with Atomic Dash. I'm sorry. That's when that should have happened.
Yeah, but I love the Super King bays. I feel like they are I feel like the jump from Super King to DB was a way bigger jump than it was from GT to Super King. As far as
literally as soon as Fafnir came out, that was it. Like there was almost no need for a Super King Bay because you had Dynamite with S Gear and you had the Vanish layer, and they both have just been good ever since.
Yeah, and there's nothing. I think that was all that was getting ran in Florida. Summer games. Do you watch the anime, Frost?
No, I don't watch the anime at all.
Yeah. I haven't been watching this one. I want to keep up with it, but I'm probably just gonna have to play catch up. I heard it's got different characters in it too. Yeah, but it's gonna be unique. I do like the DB system. I want to see more so. What I'm looking forward to seeing is if the WBBA is gonna have a new format or a more innovative format. I don't think they will. But even bigger than that, what I want to see, I would like for them to make the standard stadium the size of the DB stadium.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, I think what they should do is they should take the standard stadium, make the base of it bigger, like just make it bigger, about the size of the DB stadium, and then remodify the top part where the pockets are, make them maybe just a little wider for, to actually make the size correct, and give it that slope, like ring out spots like on the DB, so that way then nothing can bounce out. It just goes in, it's in. It's not coming out.
Yeah. There's an advantage of the DB stadium. But those matches, there are knockouts, but the matches they're not as fun and entertaining as they are in the standard. And I can attest to that from the various tournaments that we've had with it. But yeah, we're coming up on time. Thank y'all again so much. Shout out once again, Balance Tune with CrisisCrusher. Be on the lookout for that. The box is coming out. and Competitive Gamer on YouTube. The link is on the homepage of our website at four-gaming.com. Thank y'all once again. Happy blading and take care.